This is my list for the most underrated or underused cards. Oh, what's up, fam? At the bottom of my list, let's talk about Clamshell. So Clamshell, I think, is an underrated card because the damage boost doesn't go away. 1 energy, 60 damage, gain 4 damage boost if this attack causes HP loss to the target. Now this would be very great on a beast with, let's say, Chubby. Get like 12 or 20. I don't think there's a maximum stacks for damage boost. There is for poison and other debuffs, no max. So you could have, say, 10 or 20 damage boost. It gives you 1 extra damage per damage boost on that Axie. So if you have a beast with, say, Chubby and Endless Anger, now that damage boost is effectively doubled to 2 per damage boost when it's in rage mode. And now your Chubby, which does 50 damage to all opponents, instead now does 100. Beast in rage mode would say 20 damage boost, would get 40 bonus damage applied to the 50 damage. You see where I'm going with this? Say he has 20 damage boosts. It's probably not that unheard of. So he's going to get 20 bonus damage to his Chubby. So his Chubby's going to do 70 to all opponents. But now that gets doubled to 140 damage to each opponent for 2 energy. Small Frill and Swirl. Swirl is much like Hotbutt. It gives you the 3 confused into your opponent's discard pile. People aren't using it probably because it's a reptile part. I think this is a sleeper. I have a video. I'll put a link up there in the annotations if you want to click on go watch it. I played a team with Swirl, Hotbutt, and Ear Breathing. It was okay. Biden's didn't work, so that team might be even better now that Biden's actually worked. So Small Frill, apply 3 poison to all enemies. Kill this Axie for 30 HP for 1 energy. Now this is a very energy efficient, I think, support card. It'd be very good if this one had coupon on it so that it was 0 energy. That way you have just added poison stacks being put on your opponent's Axies. Let's go to the next 2. So Scarab and Sidebarb. So Scarab, I think it's underpowered at the moment and underutilized. So it might fall in my other video that I'm about to record, talking about the most underpowered cards that need improvements to be used in Origin. Apply Doubt, which reduces the healing effect by 20%. I think that needs to be buffed, but people aren't using this enough. Because it says gain 40 shield in the text and not the actual card stats up here, I think the 40 shield applies whether or not this card is 0 energy or not. So if you use this for 0 energy, it would do, say, like 18 damage and then gain 40 shield still, but then get the debuff of 20% less healing on your opponent's Axies. Stopping healing will be very important. There's a lot of Leafy builds, a lot of Strawberry Shortcake, Silence Whisper builds, and I think Scarab is underutilized. So Sidebarb, so it gets 1 energy, 50 damage, apply 2 poison and bleed for 4 turns to a random enemy. So it hits the enemy that's in front for 50, and then the effect goes to a random Axie. It could be the same Axie. It oftentimes isn't. I see oftentimes it's the back Axie that gets the bleed and the poison, and the front Axie that takes the damage. This card, I think, is very good at first glance, and it looks like an underpowered card. But really, it's going to do at least 15 damage. That Axie that is affected by the bleed uses an attack. It's going to at least do 65 plus 6 plus 3. And it might even do more than that because they're going to have 1 additional of their turns with the bleed effect on that Axie. So it could do 15 more. So it really does 30 plus 6 plus 3 plus 50. So I think this card is very powerful. All right, so these 2 cards, Sea Slug and Merry Legion. So Sea Slug, it says cleanse 2. It says cleanse 2 debuffs. Gain 2 cleanser. Now this can remove debuffs from the target up to 5 stacks, right? If it has 5 stacks of poison and it has 5 stacks of doubt, it would remove both of those, all of them. And then gain 2 cleanser, so the next 2 debuffs would be ignored and canceled out. This does a pretty good damage, only 55 damage per energy, so not very efficient. But the cleanser and the cleanse, I think, is very, very strong versus the double and triple chomp comps out there running our loaded dice. So I think this will develop more as a popular card as people use more and more disable sores. So Merry Legion, 80 shield for 1 energy is fantastic. This is going to oftentimes negate the first attack completely and part of the second attack. So this just messes with your opponent's energy efficiency. So the next two cards are Gecko and Mint. So Mint is in the same ballpark of this is going to develop as the meta develops to be a more popular card because it shields your team for 30, so it gets 120 shield for 1 energy, which is pretty baller. But you also get the 1 cleanser, so that's a buff that sticks around until they are affected with a debuff. It doesn't. It's not like the next round or for the next turn or until your next turn. It's a buff that stays on your Axie, so the next time they get hit with a chomp or a poison, that gets negated and the cleanser goes away. So I think that's gonna be very, very good against all the disable swords. So Gecko, probably one of the top underutilized cards. This card I think is a sleeper. It says 0 energy, 25 healing. It says this Axie loses 50 HP, heal and cleanse 1 debuff on other allies. If you have an Axie that is put to sleep, or you have an Axie that is chomp, you use Gecko, it will heal all your other Axies. They'll lose 50 HP, which isn't a significant amount. And then you get to remove 1 debuff on all other allies. So this will hopefully remove your sleep. Hopefully they'll change Kestrel to where it can be cleansed with Bidens or Gecko. Now the big catch about Mint is it doesn't affect the turn you use it, so you have to use it like preemptively. Say you use it like turn 1, this would probably be a great card to have innate on. Actually, short little video. These are just some cards that I think are underutilized. Leave a comment down below if you think I forgot a card that nobody plays but people definitely should. Leave it down in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.